Hello and welcome to the Formation Lap. We've now reached the halfway point of the Repco Supercars Championship, so let's dive into what we've learnt so far and what's still ahead of us as we head to Townsville for round 7 of the championship. It's a big hello and welcome to Neil Crompton, who joins me on the show today.
Hey Jess.
Hello NC. 6 rounds, 19 races in. When you factor in everything we've learnt about tyre compounds, the array of circuits that we've visited so far, and those that have had pace and success, what do we know in season 2025?
We know that it's been a great season so far. It's been highly competitive. We know that in the last 5 or 6 odd races, we're just beginning to see the emergence of Brock Feeney, who showed lots of that early qualifying pace, but he's now got great conversion numbers. I think he's had something like 9 poles for 8 victories so far in our championship season. And the other thing is I'm loving the unearthing of new heroes. We've got a bunch of them. We've got Ryan Wood, we've got Kai Allen. We already knew that Brock Feeney and Will Brown were superstars. So adding to that mix is a good thing. So loving that. Also loving the notion that Grove in particular are willing to roll the dice and do different things. And one of the things that's happened about the change in format for 2025 is because we've used a couple of different tyres, people have got to master that task, and we've seen different people go different ways with strategy, and different people are getting on top of it. So Feeney's got on top of that for both the tyres, but Groves have got on top of it in terms of being bold with the plays that they take. So that's good. You've got a bit of jeopardy in the whole story, which I love.
So I guess taking into account what we learned, how do we forecast what that looks like moving forward, particularly when we get to street circuit like Townsville? We've got the Enduros coming up there just around the corner. For guys like Brock Feeney who've been able to get a bit of momentum going.
Well, I think the beauty of the story so far is it's really hard to forecast the outcomes. That's part of the reason why with the Super 440 we've got the 2 different tyre combos. But we've got 3 races coming up for Townsville this time round, so that's going to be very different to what we've done previously. And that soft tyre that was introduced at the commencement of the 25 championship season is so vastly different in its characteristics, and it's afforded a lot of flexibility from a strategy standpoint. So the beauty is people can have a swing, and you've only got to introduce something weird like a little bit of weather, which we had there last year, or maybe a safety car, whatever, and it all gets mixed up. So the fact that the tyre's got a wider operating window and it will work over the journey, we've seen some crazy long runs. That means that there's going to be some things that happen along the way that we can't forecast, which I love.
So you mentioned the emergence of the young rookie Kai Allen, who took not 1 but 2 podiums for the very first time in his supercars career last round in Darwin.
Big moment for Kai Allen in his career.
Pretty surreal, to be honest, and to get it, in my last race as a teenager is pretty cool.
Kai Allen! Performance this weekend. A young man that hasn't raced here before in anything. And you've got to just dip your hat to Kai Allen and Matt Payne and the group at Penrite Racing.
In car number 26, it's Kai Allen!
A weekend Kai Allen will never forget, and it's great to welcome him now to the Formation Lab. Hey Kai, congratulations again. Now that you've had a little bit of time to come to grips with everything that happened in Darwin, just tell us how you look back on that weekend and what the reaction's been like.
Yeah, 100%. It was a very, very good weekend for, not just myself, but the team. And I think, we're finding some momentum now, and, especially being my rookie season, it's been a bit of an up and down start to the season, but to get, 2 podiums at Darwin and just sort of, bounce back from where the team was last year. I think, we did a lot of research coming into the round and really analysed why we weren't strong there. And yeah, Maddie and I worked super hard on Friday and got the car in a really nice window, and we just kept executing from there. So yeah, can't thank the team enough. And yeah, to finally get a podium in supercars is really cool. And then to back it up Sunday was just, super sweet. So can't thank the team enough.
I didn't trust my own research, Kai, so I went and found you in the garage leading into the event to double check that you, in fact, had never done a racing lap in a racing car at that venue. So the extraordinary thing for me here is that you did everything in terms of learning on the sim and then you applied it on the race weekend. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, it was very difficult, and getting up to Darwin was hard as well. I tried to get to the tracks that I haven't been to at least once to drive in, something, whether it was a Toyota 86 or a Hyundai Excel, but yeah, it was really tough to get into Darwin, and I just trusted the processes and had to work really hard. But I got all the tools I need in at the Grove Racing workshop, and yeah, sort of went through some stuff from last year, sat down, with Maddie and worked on a plan. And obviously it was quite difficult as well to work with the engineers because they were over in Le Mans supporting Stephen and Brenton over there. So yeah, we knuckled down. I got heaps of research in and did, thousands of laps on the sim. I lost count there at some stage, but it was really good to rock up there and get practice out of the way and then knuckle down. And yeah, to get 2 podiums was pretty surreal and something I didn't expect leading into that round, that's for sure.
So what do you feel like you were able to really unlock in terms of car performance, but also about the circuit and what you needed to do to be able to execute that really well?
Yeah, obviously, I think, I found a way of flowing the car speed. And I think, really worked on a technique there for a while and really analysed what Matty was doing really well. And it suited, his driving style in sections and then suited mine. So, yeah, we worked together really well and sort of pieced both of our styles together and, yeah, really nailed it. And we worked really hard on the car as well. And we just kept chipping away, session by session. And, yeah, by the time it comes Sunday race, the car was an absolute rocket. And to get a decent start and really run that really long stint that I did in Perth as well, I learned a lot from that. On the Sunday there and in Western Australia and really managing the soft tyre. It's a very good tyre that they're bringing out this year and to really nurse it for that long and have that much performance in it for, I think I did 30 or 40 laps there in that first stint, really set my race up and could really truck on. So it's all about understanding the strategies and I'm really getting to understand now the way the car needs to feel and what it needs to be like in the window and to have the support of, my engineer, Alistair, and you got Couchy, Shippy, you got Jack Bell, Maddie's engineer, and also having Maddie right by my side, pushing each other and steering ourselves in the right direction. It's been really good. And I think, Maddie and I we're finding a sweet spot where we need the car. And then now we're starting to really understand, and really push the engineers to find that. And we can sort of lead them in the direction so that it makes their life easier of tuning the car in that window. So, yeah, I'm super grateful to be part of the, the Penrite Racing team and for Steve and Brenton to give me a shot has been really cool. And they took a bit of a risk, but we're getting podiums now, and it's really cool to start to repay everyone that's got me to this point. It's pretty surreal, and we'll keep pushing forward and hopefully get some more results like that because that was pretty cool.
Kai, everything you've touched in the junior categories in the journey along the way, you've been successful at, including becoming a Dunlop Super 2 champion. Give us a sense of just how complex, how difficult and how much of a challenge it is to be able to step up into the main game. And I'm sure that deep down inside, if I can drag the truth out of you, it comes as a bit of a shock when you get out there amongst 23 others that can punch on.
Oh, 100%. I think, it's definitely, I always knew it was going to be hard, but you don't actually understand. And I think, talking to Ryan Wood, even last year, like he was good to, talk to him about it because he made the jump from Super 2 and in the similar, era as me. He come from Super 2 and we raced each other in 2023 and then he made the jump last year and, it's absolutely brutal because you got, I think 24 of the best drivers in Australia and, some of them even in the world seeing, the guys go over to do NASCAR and GT stuff. We're all very, very talented and hardworking and really dedicated to what we do. And, like we see now, the cars are super close and there's, little tiny margins in qualifying. So, yeah, it's all about, for me, the hardest thing was getting the qualifying execution right. I'm really knuckling down on that. And I figured a way to get in the right mindset now and even, leaning on, my peers, with Garth Tander, he's been really great at, setting up, little bits and pieces for me to work on and little goals to keep chipping forward. And yeah, it's all about the 1%ers. I think, Darwin was a key round for me to sort of put all those 1%ers into play. And I think, the land's reading up. I showed really good pace and I showed bits and pieces here. I just didn't all put it together. And yeah, I think it was great to sort of put it all together and have some good results. But yeah, it's definitely, it feels like it's taken a while, even though it's only halfway through the season, but still it's a brutal game. And, one day you can be on pole and the next day you can be down the back. It's just that tight and that close. So yeah, just got to keep working my butt off and chipping away and keep muscling our way to the front and hopefully we can have a few good results and keep pushing the team forward and hopefully Matty can keep doing his thing and I'll keep pushing and see how we end up.
Yeah, well, what's better than 2 podiums, way more podiums. We loved being there to see you take that massive step forward in your supercars career. So now the focus is on Townsville. Look forward to catching you up in North Queensland. Thanks, Kai, for joining us on the Formation Lap.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Thank you for having me.
And one of the big stories for Kai Allen, of course, is going to be in this championship fight, Neil, because he's sitting just outside the top 10. So we're not so focused on who's leading at this point, because with the final series coming up this year, it's all about who can be in the 10 at the back end of this championship. And for Kai, he's sitting 12th at the moment. There's next to nothing in it. From 7th to 14th, there's only 158 points. So you've got guys like Ryan Wood, Kai Allen, Nick Percat, James Golding, who are going to be in that argy-bargy as we head into the back end of the championship to try and make their way either into the 10 or out of the 10. In terms of the team's championship, that's been a really interesting battle as well. The Rebel Ampol Racing team have done a great job to be out in front, but Penrite Racing have done a really good job to play themselves into the pointy end of the pit lane, and that's obviously serving Kai Allen and Matt Payne in their campaigns this year. All right, coming up next, we're going to catch up with Chaz Mostert as we preview the next round in Townsville. But as we head to a very quick break, here's everything you need to know about the Supercars finals.
2025 is a groundbreaking year for the Repco Supercars Championship, revolutionising the series structure to award a worthy champion. The format splits the season into 3 key parts: the Sprint Cup, the Enduro Cup, and the finals. The Sprint Cup will be awarded to the points leader following the first 8 rounds of the championship, concluding at Queensland Raceway. This driver will receive the first golden ticket into the finals. The Enduro Cup covers both long-distance events, the 500-kilometre Stoush at the Bend in South Australia, and the traditional, always epic, Repco Bathurst 1000. The winner of the Enduro Cup also receives a golden ticket into the finals. With the winners of the Sprint and Enduro Cups locked in, the remaining 8 golden tickets to the finals will be decided by the championship order at the conclusion of the Bathurst 1000. These 10 drivers progress to the final series to battle it out for the championship crown over 3 intense rounds featuring 7 races, beginning with the elimination final, comprising of 2 bruising races on the Gold Coast street circuit. After both Gold Coast contests, only 7 drivers remain eligible for the championship chase. Next, it's the semi-final at historic Sandown in Melbourne, featuring a further 2 knockout races, each over a challenging 250 Ks. At the conclusion of Sandown, just 4 drivers move on and remain eligible for the championship hunt. Then it's off to the grand final, to be fought out on the streets of Adelaide. The pressure at the top will be immense. Placed amongst the 4 drivers fighting for championship glory will be the other 20 Supercars regulars wanting to finish the season on their own high. Expect a fiercely contested, sudden death battle across 3 days, 3 races and 600 kilometres for the right to be crowned the 2025 champion. The Repco Supercars Championship finals are coming.
When you stand in front of a bull and look him in the eye, be prepared for the onslaught. A beautiful, majestic beast, graceful and vicious in equal measure. Don't ever be fooled into thinking he's not up for the fight. Even if you back away slowly, he'll come charging.
And Feeney's done it again as they all duck and dive.
As the Repco Supercars Championship reaches the halfway mark of the season, the Bulls have been unstoppable.
Yeah, mate. Now that's a triple crown. Awesome work.
Brock Feeney has won the last 3 rounds in a row, well on his way to becoming the inaugural Repco Sprint Cup champion.
Darwin belongs to Brock Feeney.
The big question is, who's brave enough to take him on?
This is on for young and old. That is a spectacular drive, Matt Payne.
They best remember, mess with the bull and get the horns. This is the NTI Townsville 500. Welcome to the Bull Ring.
Welcome back to the Formation Lab. The big question heading into Townsville is, can anyone stop the rampaging Bulls, and in particular Brock Feeney, who's now won 3 rounds in a row? We've got a different format for Townsville. Talk us through that, Neil, but also how you think it might suit Brock.
Well, we've got a very interesting format coming up next time round. So we've got 3 races rather than the traditional 2 that we've had at Townsville in the relatively recent past. We've got racing on a Friday for 100 kilometres and then 2 200-kilometre races, one Saturday, one Sunday, featuring top 10 shootouts. But we've got the same tyre across the entire weekend, so there's no tyre variance in the story. And as you've heard already, Kai and all the other drivers are saying that tyre's been working really, really well. So it'll throw up different strategy options, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how this all works.
Absolutely. Let's bring Chaz Mostert into the conversation. He's on the line for us. Hey, Chaz, thanks for being on the Formation Lap. What do you think about the format that we've got for Townsville and going racing on Friday? How does that change the complexion of all the practice and everything that you've got to get through?
Well, thanks, Jess and Neil, for having me on today. So, yeah, Townsville is one of my most favourite rounds we get to go to, not only because it's a bit warmer than sunny Gold Coast, but it's still in Queensland. So looking forward to getting up there. But, yeah, like you said, the format is a real pressure cooker. Like, to be just turning up on Friday, doing a couple of practice sessions, and we're having to qualify straight away and into a 100K race, it's chaotic. And then back it up for Saturday, a longer race, Sunday, longer race. Probably the only thing that probably is a bit more calmer for this round is the 1 tyre compound for the whole weekend, which makes it a little bit easier. But to be trying to switch on Friday and risking the cars on Friday afternoon is going to be really tough for the teams and the drivers.
It's a great track, isn't it, Chaz? And in fact, we've used one of the wonderful battles that you had with Shane Van Gisbergen quite a few years ago, back when you were with Tickford, as an example to young drivers of exactly how to race and give space on a really challenging track. And you've got some solid results there. Is it a place that you enjoy?
Yeah, it's probably one good example of a fight that I've been able to come out unscathed, and probably got 100 other ones that you probably wouldn't show on the replays. But Townsville's layout in the circuit, it's beautiful as a parklands because it has the intensity around the track where there's still the street circuit where you can't risk too much. But then through the middle where it opens up, a bit of grass comes in place around the parkland side. You can really be adventurous with the curbs, trying to land your car, especially on some of them chicanes that the track has. And then you've got that beautiful train track and into that last sector where you've got a really sharp right-hander, which always creates great passing opportunities there. So it's a great chessboard, I like to think of. And no matter what tyre on, if you've got a bit of an older tyre compared to the guys you're racing, you can try and hang on. And you've seen that with me and Cam last year as well. We had a great old battle, and you just try not to give it up. Probably hurt ourselves a little bit in the race, but Cam still went on to win it. But it's a favourite. It's just millimetre perfect trying exchanges, and it moves never done till it's done. So I love the battle around there.
Yeah, we're just looking at pictures from that great battle that you had with Cam, and there's been plenty of those over the years. It's a happy hunting ground for you. You've had 9 podiums there, but you've never had a win. So tell me what the difference will be for you this year when you're going to stand on the top step of the podium. I'm manifesting that for you.
Yeah, been close quite a few times, which is in itself is always an honour. You never take this sport for granted, being able to stand on any one of them top 3 steps, because 3 guys are lucky enough to get the spray champagne and get trophies, and the rest wish they could to be up there doing it as well. So a win at Townsville would mean the world to me. Obviously, I love going there, being Queenslander myself, and being close so many times. It's definitely one that's hurt me a little bit. But to try and stand on top this year, what we've got to do is we've got to forget all the previous rounds we've done, really focus on where the soft tyre performances come with our car. I think I'd like to throw in the ring for Townsville that it has been a forward track, and we'll see how we go.
Tell me about the challenge of jumping between the tyre compounds, Chaz, because clearly that's been a real challenge for lots of drivers and lots of teams. As you've already pointed out, it won't be a factor when you get to Townsville, but that's something of the story for the 25 Championship, isn't it? Those that can master and those that haven't.
It's been really tricky this year. Sorry about that, guys. Just getting someone ring me on the side there. It's been really tricky because this year the tyres have been really quite restricted for the main game guys, or the guys that aren't rookies, and the rookies have always been able to grab this extra set here and there. So when you're a rookie, you get to come in, you can actually bring in one of those wild card sets. Like if it is a super soft for one race, some of those guys are lucky enough to bring in an extra set, and they get that little bit of upper hand in that second qualifying session. But what I'm looking forward to about Townsville the most is that it's just on the 1 tyre compound, and hopefully give us a pretty even playing field for the weekend.
Do you think that's been one of the advantages for Ryan Wood this year? I mean, he's absolutely taken a step forward. His qualifying pace has been fantastic and he's been able to convert that into some success. He's also had a bit of hard luck. Tell me what it's been like sharing the garage with him this year, what you're learning from him, how he's pushing you, and then how you're forecasting that to help both of you through the back end of the season.
Yeah, his one-lap speed this year has been special. And no doubt, you touch base a bit about the tyres and stuff like that. But I think what Ryan's been able to show this year, and I know from in our own camp, we haven't been there's been a couple of rounds where we've had really good pace of the car and a couple of rounds where we've been a little bit behind the 8-ball. When we have been a little bit behind the 8-ball, he's still able to execute an amazing lap and still get a great qualifying result out of it. And this year he's just been toweling me up on head-to-heads in qualifying. And he's really testing me, really pushing me. And I'm looking forward to this back part of this year because especially when we get to Townsville, had a great round there last year and these finals are coming up. It's hopefully the experience on my side can really kind of to come into play there. So we'll see how we go. Like I said, he's been doing an exceptional job. And what we've seen in development series before he came in last year, we all knew he was going to be a talent in this series. So I'm pretty honoured to be teamed up with him because he's trying to get the most out of myself as well.
Chaz, you spoke just recently about the importance of confidence as a race driver, and there is a tiny fraction of a percent in having ultra confidence in this caper. Just explain to our viewers what that means, what it's all about and those edges that you look for. You've been a top contender, top player now for a really long period of time. It's hard to stay at the top always.
Yeah, it's extremely hard. It's a full momentum sport. And when I say that, teams feel it, drivers feel it, mechanics, engineers, everyone in pit lane feels it. When you're trying to take on, say Triple Eight, which have, over the last 10 years or plus of the sport, many championships, many Bathursts, and many race wins to go along the line, they've got massive confidence on their side. And this Gen 3 and any generation change in supercars is a really good idea to create a level playing field and refresh that and brings other teams into the mix. Probably the hardest thing for me with my confidence with the car. Last year, I feel like we got somewhere really good momentum. And then this year, throwing a brand new tyre, you're showing a brand new car over the break as well. Little things that just don't quite feel the same as last year. And you're missing 1/10 of a second or 2/10 of a second in confidence in the car that the car's not giving you the feedback it needs. And you can be the difference between well inside that top 10 or buried down in the pack. And I think that's the biggest thing you sum up with Gen 3 and where it has come to. We went from this Generation 2 of cars, which had high downforce, the way it sets the Dunlop tyre because it's got 200, 300 kilos more force from downforce on the car and how that makes the car feel really live, to Gen 3 where you have a much less downforce, less pressure on those tyres in the high-speed corners, and the cars feel very light, especially on the tyre. So I think this is where it's kind of really brought a lot of young guys into it, which come a bit more from a sim background with a lot less feedback, and they're filling in those gaps a bit more than what some of us older blokes are, where we're really trying to rely on our experience from where Generation 1 and Generation 2 of supercars came. And they're really taking it to us at the moment. So we're it's really level playing field, especially between young and the older generations in this Gen 3 product.
I think going to Townsville, though, this being probably our first genuine street circuit outside of Albert Park this year, is definitely going to play into your wheelhouse, Chaz, when you talk about confidence and experience. We can't wait to see you up there. Thanks for being on the Formation Lap. We'll see you in Townsville.
Yeah, thanks very much. This is the most important round of the year because 2 out of the 3 rounds we have in finals is street tracks. So here's going to be a real good form guide for who's going to make it through to the finals and have they got a pretty good pointy car for turn and great drive. So we'll see how the weekend unfolds.
Certainly will. Thanks, Chaz. And it's going to be fascinating to see how he bounces back. I just get the sense that he wants to go and show the young buck a few tricks. And he's had such great success at Townsville, so he's going to put it together.
Excuse me, he's not done yet. He's trying to work out where the sweet spot is in that car. And remember, it's a long game. It's 34 races in our 25 championship, so he'll be there. Yep, and he's sitting 5th in the championship at the moment. But the name of the game is just to be inside the 10 when we reset all the points when it comes to finals. So we'll have one eye on Chaz Mostert when we get to Townsville. And of course, we'll have you covered right here on Fox Sports for the NTI Townsville 500. Our live coverage from Friday, July 11th. Every single session live and ad break free right here
on your home of supercars. Thank you, Neil Crompton, for being
Thanks,
on
Jess.
this episode of the Formation Lap, and thanks to you at home for your company. We'll see you in Townsville.